This is gonna be a video of my 3 laptop computers. This is I think 2008. I mean 2004 Compaq Presario M2000. This is with core Intel Centrino Celeron M. This is a Macbook Pro, the early 2008 with Core 2 Duo. And this is an Acer Aspire 5670 with the Centrino Duo. Clocked at 1.6 GHz. This one is clocked at 2.4 GHz. This one is clocked at 1.4 GHz. So obviously this is the slowest, and this is a single core. So I'm testing it with the same browser, Google Chrome, and the same game, an internet game, Pop Tropica. I don't play the game, but my brother plays it. But I found out that when playing it, it does ramp up the CPU a bit, quite a lot. In this one, no, there's not so much. So in this one, I'm just trying to show you how much the difference of temperature and stuff like that. It's a single core, so you can see it's 100% CPU usage, and memory RAM is just 500 megabytes, so it's quite small, and it's almost using it all. And according to SpeedFan, it's 59 degrees Celsius or 60 degrees Celsius, and SpeedFan doesn't control the fan speed, but I just stick that just in case it does, because yeah, it's just kind of, I want it really cold. And this is a MacBook Pro again, and it has a dual core, so it's just 70% CPU usage because it's spread evenly, and the temperature is around, let me check the ice, is around 73 degrees Celsius. The fan does ramp up when it reaches 75 degrees, but it's not yet too hot for it now. This is using activity monitor that Windows uses Task Manager. And this Acer has a dual core, as I said. That's why it's spread evenly too. 70% CPU usage. And according to SpeedFan, it's 70 degrees. And again, SpeedFan doesn't control fan speed, but this does get really hot. And the fan doesn't ramp up in Acer, so it does get really hot. The palm rest is hot, and the touchpad is hot too, if you use heavy tasks, but now it's just warm. So it's not so good for gaming. And the exhaust port for the fan is at the side, and the intake is at the bottom. I'm just gonna show you later. And this is the MacBook Pro again. It sucks in air through this long vent at the hinge, right there till the end. As you can see, these parts are a bit dirty because these are the exhaust, and in the middle is the big long intake, and the air gets sucked in there and goes around the CPU, the components of the computer, cooling it down, and gets sucked to the fan and goes into the heatsink, dissipating the heat from the CPU. And this is a Compaq. This Compaq has a fan at the bottom of it, and the exhaust port is at the back, right here where my hand is. So, and this is not just design, it does have holes in it, these vents, but it barely does anything. There's nothing. Okay, I'm gonna show you the bottom of it and the exhaust port. The intake is here for the fan, and the exhaust is right here. don't know if you can see it, but there. So the MacBook Pro, you can't see the intake or exhaust just like that. But in here, I'm gonna show you. First, pull down the monitor quite a bit, and then there it is, the square thing. The fan's running in there, but I don't think the RPMs are that good to cool the computer. So yeah, that's just about it. But oh, one more thing. Those computers, the Windows one, are a bit hot, and you can't speed up the fan to cool it down. All you can do is use a cooling pad. This one too, see, 70 degrees. That's the cooling pad I use for the Acer, but for this test I'm showing you without it. And this one just 60 degrees because it's a old CPU. This one does get pretty hot, and just like the Acer, sometimes even more. So I use this application called SMC Fan Control. It opens up there. It shows the RPM. So you know it ramps up by itself already into 1,800, 2,180 RPMs because it's 72. Computer thinks it's too hot, but I can set it to maximum 6,000 RPM, and it will cool down. There it goes. Now it's down. Now it's 68. 69. It goes back up. 67. Okay, maybe this is gonna take quite long. Now 66. Goes back up. It does it kind of slowly, and this is a free app. You can get it from the internet, and this is the preference pane for this. And this is max, which is 6,000 RPMs. High is 5,100. I made these favorites myself, so you can make it yourself too if you download. My medium is 4,100. Low is 3,500. And default is 2,000. So if you're not gonna use the computer a lot, like heavy tasks, and you download this, I suggest you set it to 3,500. When it gets hot, turn it to 5,100 or even maximum, because it does cool the computer quite a lot. But the default setting is just 2,000 again. But SMC fan control doesn't slow down the fan. It just sets the minimum fan speed, the idle speed of the fan. But if the computer thinks it's too hot, it will ramp up the fan by itself. So now the temperature is 63, and now it's 62, and this will continue to go down till 55 the last time I tested. So thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Out.